What we were doing, Tina, was to identify dead bodies as abantwana. Because it used to drain me emotionally, because I knew what those boys were going through. I saw myself all the time go. But then now you need to be a teacher. I'll go to a tavern, Alex. Utata omdala will come and you'll see this boy is crying. This boy is crying.
Sure.
And we don't want to visit all those things.
Sure. That is so, you just broke it down
Yeah, we don't
on a
want
healing level. And I hope people take something out of that, like the different roles and the different hats that you.
I didn't have a childhood. I was his keeper.
Yes.
I don't like visiting.
Okay.
That I felt like I didn't have a choice. Yes, I was doing it for mom. I did not like it. I did not like to be bullied, because it said we have a problem at home.
Hey guys, welcome to the very last episode of season 1, Born and Bred. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm glad you guys stuck around up until this far. My name is Tepiso Mwerane, but I would like you to call me Miss Tepi. Today's guest is... So when I say I sort of understood how important humility is, that humility, Ubuntu, being rooted, he represents that. But other than that, he's a film director, he's a script writer and editor, and he is passionate about teaching. His name is Banele Mtebele. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy that you're here, Banele, because like I was saying to the guys now later that I want the last episode to be a bit rooted. All the other episodes were not all over the place, but this one, I feel like it'll just stem everything and calm the storm. And then people will have a break from us, from watching us or listening to us. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So before we have this masterpiece in front of us, there was a young boy somewhere in the Eastern Cape.
Alex.
In Alex. Okay,
yes,
no problem. There was a young boy from Alex. Can you introduce us to that boy? Who is he? What did he like? Where did
Just
he
to
grow
clear
up?
off the air, I was born 1988, so that people are not confused.
You're older.
I'm older.
No, it's
I'm
all
just,
the
I'm
riches.
just I'm just confusing the enemy here. The young boy. So I was born and bred in Alexander Township, 1988. My mom got me when she was 44.
Yeah.
So growing up, already as Intwana nje, I was bullied all the time because umama mugogo. So
Yeah.
they'll always say, "Oh, where's your mom now?" But no, not Ukraine, umamako. So and then that thing grew with me as I grew up. But just to share this young boy, Alexander, I grew up just on the blink of the end of apartheid, which is like the 90s, 1991, 1992. But my fond memory, which was the main reason why we call it exile, which is the reason why I was exported to emakhaya ezilalini, was in 1993 when IFP and ANC had that squabble. There was like a huge fight.
Like a tribal war.
Yes, the tribal wars. And I was 5 years old at that time. And when we were playing games, we were like, I'm a soldier, and I'd be Olomisa because I had a big head.
Yes.
And then and then you'll have a friend of mine who's gonna be somebody else, Terra Lukota. So we knew those people. And
how old were you?
I was 5 at that time.
And you knew those people?
Yeah, that's all we knew. I remember vividly in Pasini, and I was going to Mngcwabo Krizani. And my mom thought, nah, man, there's a problem here. But I was growing so fast. But just to rewind back, it was a bit difficult, and I'm shaking as I'm sharing this story because I hardly share it. Even on my Facebook, I don't share it.
Yeah.
The Zulus were dominant and they were killing amaXhosa kakhulu.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to picture it. What we were doing, Tina, was to identify dead bodies as abantwana. But it was like a game for us. And then we'd brag about how many bodies you identified. And then you'd be like, no, man, ubaba ka Viandlo. And then you'll run back. Your reporter, and then you'll have Abu Mama, they following you, and then you point while they're screaming, crying, on to the next one because we are competing. So umama thought, no man, this is not a life that she'd like for me, and that's the reason why she took me. But the moment that she decided to take me was when I thought she was dead, because she was working at Eden Haven Hospital, Eden Vale. I mean, old age home, Eden Vale.
Yeah.
And there was just this huge war where the Zulus were attacking everyone at Texereg. So my mom didn't come back home for 3 days. And I didn't sleep. I was always a bus stop waiting for her.
How old were you?
1993. And that's when, so when my mom came, she was walking. When she came home, and then the first thing I said to her, I said, I thought you were dead. And I was looking for her body. I was starting to walk towards Msebenzini wakhe. And I'll meet bodies. No, I ain't got mama alone. So when I told her I was looking for you on these different bodies, and then she was like, nah, that's it.
Cut.
There was a time now when I'm with my mom at Dexine. So when the Zulus were coming, it was still the time we didn't have ama lights.
Yes, street lights.
Yeah. There was only Apollo, and Apollo would work sometimes, not all the time. So when the Zulus would come, they'd have ama flames.
Yes.
Orange flames. When they are far, you just see these flames, and then they're chanting. Now I'm going to Eastern Cape. I'm not sure if you notice, when you see a town from far, you see those lights, I would think it's them. And then I'll pee myself all the time.
Okay. So it was a trauma. It was a sign of trauma.
All the time. And then my mom eventually, I noticed and then when we see a city, and then she'll be like, Lala. Or counter a bridge. I remember counting on a bridge. 1, 2,
Oh
3.
no! So she created a coping mechanism for you.
Yes.
So,
But then we
or
never
like an escape plan.
We never dealt with it. So man figure makaya, I'm already messed up. Ngidabula apha emathuneni, angisabi nix. So at the age of 6, 7, I was famous ngongitshontsha ingulube, ngitshontshe inkukhu amadada, and slaughter them, ngidle. And then I was taken to inkosi emakhaya. I was always beaten. Our mama was like, nah, I'd rather umntanami azofela ngapha, because like I was like a problem.
Yeah.
The reason I'm sharing that is as utata namhlanje, when I share these stories, abantu bathi like mina ngintwana sekasi ndi rough.
Yes.
But
I find it hard to believe.
Yeah. And it comes from those things inhliziyo nayo, but then as you're growing up, you just have to always revisit that boy, and it's a beautiful way of asking it, because I also believe, but we are in threes, and I'm a Christian, will use the Holy Trinity. There's a father in me, there's a man in me, and there's a boy in me, and we sometimes forget about that boy. And the way you actually made me to visit, I shook as a man just to visit that boy,
that young man.
And the reason why it's difficult as well for you to believe ba in the rough can better ndiyam better it's because I felt like Banele, you failed that boy. It's time to protect him now. And that's why it's easy for me to always revisit, and it's easy for me to be just grounded, because I'm taking care of that boy.
And that boy, have your children sort of, what are the, okay, let me rephrase this question. That young boy, do you see traces of him now in you? Do you lose and snap into the hard shell and the hard, and you remember, and do you ever like acknowledge that, okay, that young boy is coming out, let me just calm him down?
You know, my greatest fear is to be ukushiwa. And when I thought my mom unshiyile, because utata was there, but he was never there.
Yes.
I left home when I was 16 because of that.
Yes.
So my dad called my mom a witch. So I have a disabled brother, and my dad, Uti, my mom was trying to use umuti, and it didn't work because strong, and that's why my mom gave birth. So he was not there. I don't even have stories about him. But then kumama, it was always about unganshi. But I see it with my relationship as well, my marriage. And the moment my wife is saying that boy comes back and like, please don't. And you find yourself begging at all times. And then I find myself talking to this boy, I'm like, behave. Now I'm no longer fighting what I have to fight, because I have to take care of him, because he's the only one who jumps. The moment within their hand, when I'm called Msebenzini for disciplinary hearing, that boy will come and be like, hey, bazokushiya wena.
Sure.
Bazokuhambisa wena. And then I'm shaking, I can't
Yeah.
speak, I'm crying, and it's always that boy. So that boy always comes. And
it's amazing that you've like, I feel like you know him so well and you know exactly how to deal with him, which is not something that a lot of people can.
Honestly,
I know
I'm
definitely.
shaking now, and I didn't anticipate it's gonna be like the first question.
Yeah, it's just to know you, you know.
And that boy is always there, always
That's
take care of him, and
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So, did you see any role models in, like, as a young man, or as that boy? Did that boy have any role models?
And it's so funny. So I was raised by Maginza.
Okay.
So when I left home when I was 16, so my mom thought I'm gonna be a street kid. So the reason why I left home because I wanted to stab my dad. Let's go drive.
Okay.
Yeah. Utata and his brother. I don't know how to say it in English, but in Indlavin.
Cruel.
Indlavin is
Sure.
There's no education.
Oh,
there's nothing. I'm
no
a
logic.
man. Yeah, I'm a man. You have to do this. Yeah.
Got you.
So in Lavin, no filter. So mangicela imali kumama going to school. Uthi mama like that. Zanga sebenza. I don't remember my dad working. Okay. I remember 1997, I was 9 years old seeing Irino Horn. I remember seeing $dollars. I remember seeing my ID, my passport. So the reason why I left home because I wanted to stab him, and I just remember mom shaking in Tlogaka because you weren't born.
Don't do it, yeah.
I went to stay with my role models now, Amakinza. Yeah. So they used to give me my 500. They used to give but in your phone and by lawyer and then the man. I remember my first check ever. It was from a gangster.
Yours, where you lived, or your parents?
For mine, not a kaya.
Okay.
Mine.
Okay.
It was left by a gangster.
Okay.
He was from Zim. The only thing I knew about him was by Bingu Rasta. There was a plasma, there was a fridge, double door. I have those things inside. And then he went to prison. After 2-3 months, he died.
In prison,
In prison. Selem na up.
How do you account for them? Where do you get a plasma as a young man?
No one must slupa intwana rasta. I'm going to my role models now. Yeah. And then I heard good but my relatives were from Zimbabwe bazoclaim izinto. I advise, but brah, do what you please. I remember my first account was Mzansi account in a bank. You deposit him I had like 18,000 per year. But nigga zolo yake, but nigga is those guys because they respected to rest. Yeah. So we used to stay at Royal Park, Alexander Mafimin.
Yeah.
So those were my role models.
What were qualities that you like? If I can be like this, I'm fine.
And all my role models, one thing I saw, and it was sort of like coincidental because I would only be closer with that certain person with the quality. Yes, Bindi.
Okay.
They taught me to be brave.
Okay.
However, they taught me to be brave.
Okay.
So I had that thing,
okay.
I'm here now, so I'll stand tall. And then as I'm growing up, I sort of like became lovable by the very same enemy because because you're so confident. So that's the qualities I got from them. I remember one time when the cops would come, they would have they'll be brave and face an account for Intabazenzil.
Yes.
So and I never forget all those values that I learned from them. And they'll tell you, but don't worry, I will face this one on my own. Even though by 4 round, you one he's gonna stand. Let's just be never ever stop running in my system, and I just took that and then fundisele and I'm I account for the things that I do.
Sure.
And that's what I learned from them.
Sure. You took something that could have literally thrown you into jail and you owned it and you made it something different, because someone with that much bravery can get into so much 100%. Trouble.
And thanks to them for guiding me as well. Sure. Thanks to them for guiding me. They never wanted me to visit them in prison. They never.
Okay.
Don't come here.
Okay.
Because that's what they would say. But then when they come out, they'll give me instructions on what to do. I used to support families. outside. And people don't know as into
How old were you?
I was in high school.
They're still young.
I went to Highlands North Boys High School. How I went to Highlands North Boys High School. It was like a huge school.
Yes.
I can't afford this school is. My academics are on point. A2 they we get pasari. But then the way they did it, they take imali by niga a school.
Yes.
And E2 they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So now I found out ukuthi mina anibhadalanga school fees. I was the only one who'd get a statement esi-ready esikoleni.
A Highlands North.
A Highlands North. Dibhadalelwa ngama-agent. So I used to sell weed. Ndifundiswa ngamajita. Ndifundiswa ngamajita Highlands North.
Sure, that's amazing. And they, like, did you feel like you owed them something when you were at Highlands North, knowing, okay, umama can't afford to do this for me?
Umama didn't know. No, I did not feel that. But then I felt like a nechrot man.
Okay.
I felt like a nechrot. I really, really grew up so fast. And they were just beyond my age. This is me on my teen years, 14, 15, until I finished matric, which I finished when I was 19.
Yes.
I'm bullied again because in Kulinchebe, I'm still young. And these are the only ones about Ntwana, Untswempu. Ntwana, only one. The rest, my peers are bullying me. My first guitar, it is from them. Pume round in, my first guitar. They thought of me. Nah. And then I'm playing for them. They smoking is all. I'm not smoking. I'm always with them. Bang bambi sama 20,000, and then somebody disappears. So I had Leon and 20,000 I'll look after
their families.
Yeah, of which that's the reason why I'm teaching today, because all those boys were like under my wing.
Yes.
And coincidentally, it just happened that Rosect is there. And then these boys are just Lapayan. And so they saved me actually. Yibo, who actually said, even though you have this quality that you took from us, don't use it like this.
Don't use it like this. It's amazing how you also interpreted it like that, because I'll go back to how Izo. Yes, Bomb Productions were trying to do it for the good of the community, but kids wanted to be that. Yeah. They wanted to be Chester. They wanted to be like Ubo. So for you to actually interpret it the way that they were trying to serve it to you was just amazing. And when you at Rosette, so we said, I touched a bit earlier when I was introducing you, that you are passionate about teaching.
Sure.
When you're at Rosette, do you see yourself in some of those boys? Like, do you see your characteristics and be like, lo, Banele Mtebele?
Yeah. So Rosette used to drain me emotionally, because I knew what those boys were going through. I saw myself all the time go. But then now you need to be a teacher. Because if you are a mother, you don't want your children to see your pain. No. If you are a parent, you don't want to see your children. You don't want your children to see you can't do certain things. So you'll find ways to block it so that they can still see you as this person I can trust. So I had that facade as well, where I'll always they are saying like I'm like, and it helps me to just
to forget.
Yeah, escape and come back. So I saw myself a lot from those boys, and most of them, including Frank was my student, by the way.
Yes.
Including Frank, Tribe Franco.
Yeah.
Most of them, I grew up with them, we became friends. And I have this thing, Oguti, of which I learned it from Abba Hortman Bam. We don't need to be the same age in order for us to be friends.
Sure.
I'm going to see you as a man. And I'm an advocate of when you're speaking to a young boy, speak to a man. I used to call them with their last names. Only Mumna, even when they meet me now, but Mr. Mtebele.
Sure.
From a young age till now, I see you as a man.
A man, yeah.
But remind you of the boy in you, because we have to play.
You have to.
We have to play.
Sure.
We have to play. So I'll always be that guide to them, because I worked on it. And it helps me in my relationship as well. My wife is a mother, a woman, and a young girl.
Yes.
Now, this is the mistake that we do. When I, Banele, as a man, want to have an intimate time with my wife as a woman, it has to be like that, right? Yes. When we have to talk about it's the father in me and the mother in her. When we play Ngamapilo, it's the child in me, the child in her. The only problem that we have, of which that's what I'm trying to articulate to people, is if Banele ebedlala and boy late ending, because bendlala is snook, the mother in her
comes out.
Must come. But then no, the mother is not coming, because the mother must reprimand the child. it's the woman who comes.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to fight.
Yeah.
And the woman doesn't talk to the child in me.
Ooh, I
They
have
talk
goosebumps.
they talk to the man in me, and the man is defensive and like denze ntoni. That's why there's always a clash. Asizwani.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have a head. Now this is a man in me, this head. Xa ingekho, that's a father in me.
Father in you, yeah.
When I'm half naked, skipper, that's a boy. So now can you be kind when I don't have my t-shirt? Don't bring the woman in you. Just be with me on my level.
Just be with me on my level.
Yes, we have so with those boys, because I understand that I'll always help them. I'll always help them.
Yes.
Sometimes umunyuzo khala ufike late. Why you call? No, I had to do this for my green. I had to do this. So now the man is being pushed in this boy.
Sure.
So now I'll know how to just sit him down and cover him. So now they'll talk to me about anything. And then I had most of them being molested, and they'll be free to talk to me. And I know how to carry them.
And would then the boy in you be talking to the boy in them?
So the father in me will be talking, yes.
Gotcha.
But then the boy in me will be playing. Now,
play.
this is me luring you in. I'll play with you. When you're comfortable, I'll introduce the father. Because I need to protect you.
That is
I don't know how I do it. I don't know psychologically if ndimosha abantu or, but that's how I'm just relatable kubo. And I'll go to a tavern, Alex. Utata omdala will come and you'll see this boy is crying. This boy is crying.
Sure.
And we don't want to visit all those things.
Sure, Banele, that is so, you just broke it down.
Yeah, we don't
on
want
a healing level. And I hope people take something out of that, like the different roles and the different hats that you talk about. Let's talk about, I don't want to mention Tribe Franco because I know him personally and you know him, but one of the boys or any other, pick one of them that you've seen from that boy to a man now. What's that one quality you said, that was my work? And you look at him now, hopefully you have one that you are still close with other than Frank, and be like, for him to be this confident, actually pat on the back, Banele, that's you.
And I lost contact with him, and unfortunately, he's on drugs now. I'm not going to mention his name just to protect him. Okay. But I had this beautiful, beautiful boy who was struggling sexual orientation. I don't know how to call it. I don't know these terms. Yeah. But then he was a gay boy.
Yes.
And he was struggling with that.
He wasn't accepting himself
as a gay boy. He was scared. Yeah, he was scared. He was confused by my kindness to him.
Okay.
And he thought, mhlawumbe gay or but Nambamba.
Yes.
Tambamba.
Yes.
The day he got freedom, he invited me to share this thing.
To share that he's gay.
Yeah.
With you as his pillar.
With his parents. I remember the parents, everything babuzamba, what does he mean?
Sure. So you'll be sitting here and Mama, Dada, I'm gay. And they're like,
yeah, I remember. So for me, it made me feel like, as a black community, we need to have that. We're struggling with a community in a society. Society is messed up. We don't have a community. And I'll explain that. So now I felt like we are a black community with him. Forget about gay, forget about Mandipi, and with great confidence. We see street kid in Fontaine.
Sure.
On his birthday, I was with him, basically preaching, just to visit him. I see him, regardless of what he has. But the confidence he still has now, it reflects him.
Wow.
And the most valuable thing that I love about him, he accounts for everything. And that's basically what we've been advocating. Just take account for everything. So the relationship is not going to go anywhere. I'm just like my other friends as well. And I always say to him, brah, you're younger than me, but I look up to you. He always quotes me on that. I don't know what happened to his life, but life in him and it's been a food. I'm not going to help him. He doesn't need help. He's fine where he is, but I have to miss him. I have to remember him.
Sure.
And it pains me though to see him where he is, but I'm proud because he's away.
Yes.
He is aware where
And
he is.
did you see him? What did you see him as when you were building him and thinking? Were you like, hey, he's going to be an actor, this one, because he's gay and he's flamboyant, he's confident. What did you see him as?
A politician, honestly.
Okay.
Saw him as a politician, and I even said to him, I'm gonna write a script. We're gonna have the first gay president. We're gonna have all. So I saw him as a politician. He knew how to speak his mind. He knew how to advocate things, and I'm not talking about him advocating the LGBT. No, things. Sifuna into eso, sifuna into eso. So those are the things that I saw. This is gonna be a politician. I saw a politician in him, but more than that, I saw a man.
Wow. Can I give you props on that? Because I feel like, so a lot of psychologists say that any human being, you, me, like anyone, black, white, green, purple, whatever, young, old, we all want to be seen, heard, and celebrated. And that's what you did to that boy. You saw him, you heard him, and now you're celebrating him wherever he is.
100%.
You still like that. So props to that.
Thank you so
You've
much.
done such an incredible job to do that. And so my next sort of topic would be around difficult childhood memories that you, if you had the switch in your brain to turn down and never revisit, what would that memory be? So that one difficult memory where you're like, I actually want to switch off these cameras, these lights. I'll leave all my other memories, but this one, I don't ever want to see it in my brain.
Yes, that's in Lala. Alex. Even though I'm proud of it now, but then... So I have a brother who was born 1982, physically and mentally disabled.
Yeah.
Okula naye, it was a struggle for me. I didn't have a childhood. I was his keeper.
Yes.
I don't like visiting.
Okay.
That I felt like I didn't have a choice. Yes, I was doing it for mom. I did not like it. I did not like to be bullied because it said we have a problem at home. And then I'll just close it with what my mom said.
Okay.
But those moments, I don't want to revisit them.
Yeah.
I couldn't do, and I didn't go to school because of him. I didn't do things that I wanted
Because
to
of
do.
him.
I was always with him. He's 6 years older than me. I had to think for him. I had to do all those things.
Yeah.
I don't like visiting that, even though I'm proud of it now.
Yeah.
But this is what my mom said, which clicked. Mande mbuzi mama, what does it mean about thina sinomntu okhubazekile, we're poor, everything that is ugly, it was on us.
Sure. Everything that is ugly, it was on us.
Indlala mfethu. So I used to bawa esizulwini, and my mom is saying it, she used to say it as a joke, mabathi usiphe isinkwa sethu semihla ngemihla, I will add ishebo. Nerama,
Oh, wow.
and my mom used to cry then, but then later on it was a joke. And I meant it because I believed basizoba grand.
Yeah.
I don't want to visit that. Now when I go back, I only remember cold. We didn't have clothes as shushu. Kodwa ndiyakhumbula umama ezama ubasa uba kufudumala. I don't miss that. I'd like to switch it off my childhood because of my brother whom took away my childhoodness.
Yes.
Because I had to be maniac.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to switch it off. But my mom said God wanted to prove to people that he exists by creating disabled people. And how we treat disabled people, that's how we treat God. But he chose your family to hold him.
Sure.
And that changed everything.
But he chose your family to hold him.
My family is special. So God can't give you a special thing of this child and imali. That's why you don't see rich people with disabled children. And I was like, hey.
Is that another coping mechanism that your mom
Mama
had?
is always with these stories.
But look how she she created coping mechanisms for you.
Yeah.
That actually helped you escape for a little bit what you were going through.
I did forget.
That's incredible. Do you do that with your kids now? Do you have obviously their life is much is
Yes.
But you know, do you have anything where you like, hey, Lwandle, do you know what I mean? Like those coping mechanisms.
No, honestly, they're too smart.
Yeah.
I call a spade
Yeah.
a spade.
Yeah.
They're too smart.
Yeah, no, they are.
And the life we live in now, it's so fast.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So when you create these stories, you're filtering a reality. So I'll give an example. I have girls.
Yes.
Let's say somebody touches them inappropriately. Because I've created this world of filtering, they're going to filter that as well.
Yeah.
So they need to call a spade a spade. Ubani, ute ubani ubambe so.
Yeah.
And that's it. She likes, yo, ubani bani uyenze so. Like I wouldn't filter.
Yes.
We don't filter.
That's what he did.
That's it.
That's
so I
it.
don't filter with them.
That's amazing.
I don't want them to cope. I don't want them to escape. I want them to face reality. You in or you out.
Is that now that little boy trying to teach them to be brave?
I think it's that little boy growing up. Is that little boy trying to be a brother to them?
To them, okay.
It's that because that little boy is always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that little boy trying to be a brother to them. I'm protecting you.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know how. I know how to protect.
Yeah. So I just want to go back a little bit again to why has the memory of like the people that you are counting bodies stayed with you? Like, is it just something that you can never forget?
I try to forget.
It's just
I think it's because when pila nabo.
Yes, it's people you knew.
Yeah.
Yes.
See now I don't Magnum Ngcwaba, I don't go check the coffin.
Okay.
I don't. And we have this culture if umalume ushonile mela ugezwe, I don't go.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see a lifeless person. Because I saw it without a choice.
Sure.
But then I used to identify them because I remember the shoes.
And it's people you know.
Abantu benphila now.
Malume Spanbane.
Ubaba kabani. I know them.
Yeah.
I know them. I try to forget, but it's just difficult.
It's just difficult to forget.
It's just difficult.
So I want us to talk about, and I feel like this episode is going a bit too emotional, but it's fine. I'm going to try and hold myself. In my family, we had a lot of people die from HIV. And it was a pandemic that was never explained to kids. If anything, we saw adults hiding it amongst themselves.
Sure.
And you'd see umalume Spanbane or auntie Spanbane go from being a beautiful, curvaceous woman to this thin person, and no one will ever explain, Uguti, this is what happened. And that was a pandemic for us. And we saw this disease wipe out everyone. And I don't want to say it wasn't like an exclusive thing to Alex, but I saw a lot of adults in Alex that we've lost because of HIV. And you'd see them like go from 0 to 100 very quickly. Do you have any experiences where you've seen this disease like finish someone?
Sure. Nama didn't know it was.
It was. We didn't know.
Until now. But my experience was... malume, but then be cousin or go side in mama. Ndizowazi ngokuthi it was HIV. But then so he used to change abosisi. Benabo malumekazi abaninzi. And for us to become enemies, it became when he'd have them babe nama ultramele, it's some more banvimbe. So ngaba ne grudge. Now one time uyakhohlela uyagula mele ngimbheke mina ngivusa lezi zinto ama-ultraman. So I'm the one who's supposed to nurse him. So I remember one time aloku athi yabona hayi iyabuya azenza so isandla hayi iyabuya igazi. And for me I'm like hayi ayibuyi because ngisasenele grudge le. But then I used to take care of him.
You used to take care of him.
And imphamagheyu. I don't know uphethwe intoni malungu.
Undon, of course.
I don't know.
But I'm saying because it's so how old were you at the time?
1999. I was 11.
As an 11-year-old, because you're seeing this person go from, because unfortunately that's the kind of disease that finishes you as a person. It eats you literally.
Yeah.
What was going through your head? Hey, Manje says like now my umalume, because also you'd have my pampers for adults. I would first time ever I was probably 10 or 11 when I saw pampers la bantu abadala, and at home they would try to hide it. Because adults were hiding things amongst themselves now, that none of the kids were sat down to say, guys, there's this pandemic and this is what's happening.
Yeah. from that, besifihlela nathi when it comes to Pampers. The reason why I was umongi wakhe ukudla ama-leukozyte ngidlala ukudla ngizokudlala ukudla ngizibhadala ngakho.
Yes.
But what I remember, Jesus, what I remember with him bebathi uphethwe iphika. Une iliver yakhe iphika iflue ngapheli bebathi iphika. That's how they glamorized that thing, and it was normal. And mangiyibheka manje, I think first time in high school because I was 11. But did you sleep with the masenza ama-HIV test? I used to touch that guy.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, damn, toting that because I didn't know anything.
You didn't.
I didn't know anything.
You couldn't have known.
He would cough and there, Valley. I didn't know anything.
Because it was such a...
And no one protected me. No one. I remember my gums wakhe amazinyo amakhulu.
Yeah.
Phika. I mean, as long as udlala ukudla bamphathele kuphela, and until he died. I only got scared when I'm older.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone with HIV? I'm like, damn, I do. Masemele your test. So I
there.
didn't know when I was. And then as in cool, I had a cousin who recently passed on now, and she was just living with my ARVs.
Yes.
Now I have friends. Life is normal. I know
Everything
much about
fine.
it.
Yeah.
But then that was my only encounter, and I don't remember anything too HIV. I didn't know.
No.
I didn't know.
It's amazing, like, to try and dig into that memory bank, though, and to know that a lot of us, we would share a glass. Or actually, you know what? It's fine for us to do that. But we, as kids, we didn't know what was happening. It was a bit of a confusing stage. But where I want to land is, it was a time where we saw a lot of people die.
Yeah.
There we saw a lot of people die. When did you sort of grasp? I know you said that you'd see people's bodies, but when did you grasp, like, in your close family, when did you grasp the concept of death and that umalume might die? Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the death ukuba sizawutshona nathi, and actually, as people, we're not gonna live here forever. I guess I'm contradicting myself because we've seen the dead bodies. Anyways.
But in my family,
but in your family, close.
It would be my cousin brother.
Yeah.
It would be my cousin brother. But to do number 2,
Like a catheter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Catheter,
I was changing that.
I'm not sure.
That one hit me. It was 1998. I was 10 years old. That one hit me.
So you saw that when you were 10 years old?
Yes. I would change it for him.
Okay.
I would change it. I would drop. My toilet is drop off.
Yeah.
So I would. Mongi naguye. Mongi is the person who takes care of the person who's about to. That one hit me. And then the other one that really messed me up was my mom.
Sure.
So yeah.
And that happened 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
This is recent. Yeah, 2018.
Do you want to talk about it?
This is recent. Yeah, we can.
So I actually said this quote in our previous episode that Gabor Mate said that trauma is not what happens to us. For the fact that we saw what we saw is not trauma.
Okay.
Trauma is what happens inside of us when that is happening to us. When your mom passed on, the act of her passing on wasn't trauma to you, but what was trauma? Trauma is what happened inside of you.
So profound, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so profound.
So what happened to you inside when she passed? I mean, of course you were sad, but because I remember when my mom passed on in 2016, I think 2016, and now that I'm interrogating it, or I was interrogating it after her passing. What happened inside of me, which was very traumatic, was that I was scared not to live my life to the fullest because I felt like she lived for other people. And, and Oprah says that, like with her, she's an extreme empath and she's a people pleaser. Like she'll do anything to please, but she's had to work through that.
Yeah.
But because of her childhood, she would please people. And I see a lot of a people pleaser and an extreme empath in my mom, and which drained her to an extent that she didn't live to her fullest. And when she died, of course I was sad, but the trauma that happened inside of me was that I was scared not to live to the fullest because I saw her not living to the fullest.
Damn it. What happened to me? I think it was the boy. So I was scared as well. But
Yes.
Mama, you've been promising that you'll never leave me. This is the boy.
Oh,
And
God,
you just
yeah.
did now. That, in Betil. And I never trusted anyone who said, I'll always be there for you. I don't trust them. If the only person I trusted can do this thing. Because not the way I'm Mama, she was just watching a movie.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of how it happened. Because had it happened in Makai, probably after few days, clearly yet. So she came, and 2 days into I was as if it was a Popeye. So that was a beautiful death for me.
Yes.
But the young boy said, damn, and the shock in me as a man was, son, I'm plans that we had.
Yes.
But then
Yes.
and that was the shock.
That was the shock.
But then just to share the impact it had, I'm so proud. There are people who lose their parents when they're still young.
Yes.
My mom left me when I'm a man, and I think she did a great job.
Yes.
So I was proud to umama, instead of being the other way around.
Yes.
And I took care of the young boy. But no, man, even though I'm still there. But as a man, I accepted. I knew it's going to happen one day. And I was proud.
Yes.
And I do not miss my mom. I remember her.
You remember her. You don't miss her.
I don't miss her. And
can you explain that to me?
Sure.
Missing and remembering?
When you miss someone, if I miss my mom, I'm regretting things I never did with her.
Oh, I'm definitely then missing my mom.
Yes, you're regretting. There are things you wanted to do, and it has to go with the guilty as well. But then remembering her is reminiscing on the things that you did.
I see what you mean.
And so when you miss somebody and they come, you become happy.
Okay.
But then when you remember somebody and they don't come, you become content, which is you become joyful with what you have.
Okay.
So I'm content with the time that I spent with that lady. Her memories just bring joy. So I don't miss her. Ndiphilile nalam, ndimhlupile, ndakhula, ndamjonga naye, and she got me when she was 44. She was beautiful, and I have this beautiful heart from her, and I just remember mom. If I speak about mom, there's always going to be a smack, there's always going to be a smile. I don't regret anything.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I don't regret anything.
May her soul rest in
I'm proud
peace.
of her about she indot.
And
last born yakhe, tumbo wakhe as indot.
That's amazing.
And I'd like that to be the same with my kids when I leave. They are women who are proud. Yes.
Before we get to the end, I want to know the work that you do with men and your passion for working with men. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. And how I explain it is the greatest gift a black man can ever give himself is to actually embark on a journey of healing. We are all wounded, all of us.
Okay.
We are all wounded, but we are scared to step in and do the work.
Okay.
We like to blame. That's why we have churches, just to put a blame on somebody else.
Okay.
And the greatest gift is basically heal.
Okay.
Heal. And you're healing from, I'm going to make a small example. If you are with your partner and then when early ejaculation, that's a wound. But then it's created by something that you need to revisit.
Okay.
And the one will always creep in other things. So if you can actually go there, you're good. And that's basically what we do. I know people, of which is one of my scripts, I know people who are free inside prison than people who are trapped outside. And that's when you visit that wound, that one thing. And my greatest wound ever, ukusaba ukshiywa, my greatest wound ever is to be seen. Ngifuna ukubonwa. So I'll do anything ukubonwa. But Banele, you'll always be disappointed because people are not going to see you. So what I have to do is to go dig deep and peel that onion. When you peel the onion, something's going to happen to your eyes, right? Here, just peel it, so that udile nayo le nto and not expect other people to always see you because they're not going to see you.
Yes.
And I've learned as well, look, whatever you want in life, there are 50% chances of getting it, 50% chances of not getting it.
Yeah.
And what you do in between is when you visit
work.
that,
When you do that work.
and it's only for black people. I like doing it like that, but then men are men. But I love black people.
Okay.
I love black people.
Okay. Okay. And are you feeling comfortable to tell us one of the people that you're working with and who are serving life sentence? What did they do? Don't say their name. What crime did they commit?
I also wrote a script. So a friend of mine killed Impinjak.
Okay.
And you'll see in the story.
I can't wait.
The day. Basically, their best friend from the young age, and it's a true story, they're best friends from the young age, and only to find out the other one is developing feelings for the other one.
Okay.
And ngifila so ngawo.
Romantically.
Yes. The other one was always in denial. I push it
Okay.
until one time the other friend was drunk and he was kissing another guy. Akwata lona. So in them quarreling, ashang kind ashon, and then he was gone.
Sure. And it threw your friends to life sentence.
Yeah, he was gone. So he was arrested when he was 24.
How old is he now?
My age 35.
Okay.
35, and is gone.
Would you say he is free inside?
Yes.
Okay.
He is free.
Sure. Banele, this is a tradition in our show that when we close, you take Ulwandle on one day in your life, in your childhood, as a little boy. So we're revisiting him again. Shame, wherever he is. He's like, guys, it's a Saturday, I want to chill. Stop coming back to me over and over. You're taking Ulwandle to spend a day with this boy. Where does he wake up? Is he waking up in the morning having slept on the floor for the night? Where does he go? He plays what? And I want you to tell me if there are any things in this day, that you would want to shield away from Ulwandle, and things that you wanted to see and why you'd wanted to see them.
So the boy wakes up. Emkhukhwini. And then bamenzela iti, mama menzela iti nesonka, and then tata iti balifake kule sinka lesi, and then wenze, and then you eat ngathi umdoko.
Yeah. Okay.
And then uyahluta, and then umama uyahamba, and then umama ushaya ama instructions ukuthi ngo-1 nibuye nizodla amasi.
Okay.
And then umama uzobuya ngo-5.
Okay.
Na ndiyahamba, and then thatha ubhuti ke ngoku Lwandle siye, ndithatha ubhuti wami ndiyomshiya nokokwana. Kokwana nizohlala lapha nathengisa amathumbu the whole day.
Okay.
And then I'm walking ke ngoku mna ndiyayibha.
Ukokwana uyakwazi ukunakekela ubhuti. She knows how to.
Uyamthanda futhi bahlala boyithula. That's the only time I can get to myself. So now siyakhuphuka siya eBioscope.
Okay.
Anayo imali yongena. But I know abanye abantu Lwandle abanye abantu bacela imali, mina ngicela itikiti. That's what I bomisa mna. Ngicela itikiti lokungena. And if asilifumana itikiti bazosifaka makusele 15 minutes of the movie, but ngena.
Okay.
So sizohlala lapha emnyango
for free
because ndiyahlupa.
Yes.
That's all. I just want to watch a movie, Bioscope, The Kings. Sizohlala up, and then eventually bazosifaka, and then sobukela a movie. So when you come back, I'm actually telling you the whole story that we just saw.
Okay.
But Jackie Chan, what.
And I saw Ulwandle and I saw the movie.
Bonile na a movie,
Okay.
and then mbalisela yona le movie. Now I'm going back now endlini. Sendi late, we didn't eat a mass.
Okay.
And umama uzobuya ngo-5, and the ixesha ngo-5 to 5. And I'm gonna get it beating Lwandle, so we need to rush. I'm gonna get it beating if la masa swadlang.
Okay.
So sigijimela ukuyodla la masi. No, so that's singachithi ukutya.
Okay.
And then masitya amasi, umama uzofika apheke. Ungathi uhluthi because bazokubetha. Funeka utye futhi because uzijampisela.
But you just ate.
You just ate, and I sitye futhi.
Ubhuti?
Ndimlandile na sesizotya apha, and na uhluthi utyile kokwana.
Okay.
Kodwa uzotya because sizabethwa.
Because
that's the only threat that we have.
Yes.
And then we have to wait for utata. Uzobuya enxilile utata.
Okay.
And then uzosithuka sonke.
Okay.
Ungathuki. It's normal.
Yeah.
Ungathuki, and then tata ngene asithuke sonke.
Yeah.
And then alale.
Okay.
So mkhulisa tangu mna simncedisa alale. Mhlawumbe uzobuye ezichamele. Mhlawumbe uzobuye wheel edrainini unuka idrain.
Okay.
Funa simhlambe. Sometimes uzobuye ezenzele number 2. Funa simhlambe. Sometimes uzobuye ekhathwe ngabantu nje, but sidophe lo muntu ungathuki, and that's what I would say. And then silale. Kusasa ekseni it's going to be the same thing.
Okay. Okay, that's a
Thank you.
beautiful day. Lwandle would have so much fun knowing her that because she's quite adventurous
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sure. Thank
That'll
you
be
so
my
much,
day. Thank you
Vanilla,
so
for a
much for having.
beautiful conversation.
Thank you
I
so much
mean,
for
yeah,
having.
thank you. It's a closing one for the season, and we're very grateful for you.
Thank you.
Yo, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Like I said, 4 episodes down, one season closed and sealed. We hope that you take something out of each of our stories. See you again on the next one. I don't know when that will be, but yeah, we'll see you again.